Back on the SportsMax zone just 24 hours after resigning as head coach of the Barbados senior national football team, Russell Latapy has been appointed assistant manager of the Australian A-League side Macarthur FC. The former Trinidad and Tobago international will reunite with compatriot Dwight Yorke, who was named manager of the Sydney-based club back in May. The 53-year-old Latapy was under heavy pressure as Barbados head coach following a string of disappointing results, which saw the team fail to win since March 2021. Here to discuss this development is journalist at Nation News in Barbados, Anmar Goodridge-Boyce. Anmar, welcome back to the SportsMax zone, because you had spoken to us before the news of Latapy's resignation became official. How is Barbados taking this one?
Thank you so much for having me back on the zone, Lance. It's a pleasure. Well, abracadabra, the little magician, waved his wand and he's disappeared from Barbados' senior men's national football team. I know you like that one, Lance.
Yeah.
It is the situation here, and it is a case where it's come as a surprise. I'll tell you what. Obviously, Barbados had a number of bad results in the CONCACAF Nations League first round, losing all four of their encounters, and obviously Russell Latapy, as the head coach, all fingers were pointed at him. But it was a situation where Barbadians felt that the Barbados Football Association would have backed him, they backed the program, backed the style of play, backed the statistics that he would have been putting through. They also probably took into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic, the fact too that Barbados' domestic league is yet to resume, and the fact that Russell Latapy probably he did not have at his disposal a number of professional players, but it is a situation where he's gone now and a number of former football players in Barbados are happy.
Yeah, well, we heard your point that a lot of ex-national players were so disgruntled with the results that they were calling for Latapy's removal. The fact is that Latapy does not have a lot of experience as a football coach. His playing career, the log of his CV as a player is one of the best we've seen coming out of the Caribbean. But from your assessment, balance for me his quality as a coach as against the point that you just made, that he really, to be fair to him, didn't have the tools to work with. And with the COVID-19 pandemic and so on, it sort of scuppered a lot of the plans that would have been there to develop the Barbados national team.
As you mentioned before, Lance, Russell Latapy, a brilliant footballer in his heydays. As a coach, he would not have seen the results that he would have wanted with the Barbados senior men's national football team. We watch football at the international level, and we see when a new coach is appointed, he comes with a backbone staff. He comes with his assistant, comes with probably a trainer, probably comes with a physio as well. It is a situation where Russell Latapy did not have that, so he was obviously forced to work with the tools that he had in Barbados. Obviously, in terms of resources too, Barbados not being exposed to a number of professional players. Yes, they have the likes of Nick Blackman, Brian Trotman, Hallam Hope, Christian Pearce. But on this last campaign as well, those players, only Christian Pearce was able to play for the Tridents. Obviously, the other players were injured in the process as well. So it is a case where, too, like I mentioned before, the COVID-19 pandemic would have impacted the fact that the domestic league still not being able to play. And there were a number of restrictions as well here in Barbados, and sports was not really allowed. Sports people were not allowed to have their competition. So I think that would have played an integral role too in the fact that Russell Latapy, he had no choice but to pay a number of under 20 players and a number of under 18 players as well for the squad to compete, against professionals.
Anmar, Russell Latapy was appointed in the pandemic, correct?
He was appointed in March 2019.
19, well, just before. All right, just before. Is it a case then that he may have become frustrated by certain commitments made from the level of the Football Association, Randy Harris and company, to say, okay, you will have this and you will have that, and that the frustration at not having those things promised delivered, and the reality of the unavailability of players of the caliber that he could make a competitive side with, that helped to make the decision even more than the criticism from the sidelines from the ex-players?
Yeah, I don't think it was a case where the frustration got to him. And I think local football fans are kind of forgetting this point as well. when Russell Latapy was appointed in March 2019, Barbados was actually playing in League C of the CONCACAF Nations League. He came in after the former technical director, Mr. Ahmed Mohamed. He took over from him. And it was a situation where Latapy actually gained promotion. Barbados won 4 out of their 6 games, and they were promoted to League B of the CONCACAF Nations League. Obviously, we had the pandemic as well, and this would have helped to push the Nations Football League forward as well. It was a case where Barbados was one step away from qualifying for the CONCACAF World Cup due to the pandemic and due to the fact that they gained promotion. So I think it's a case where I don't think there were heavy demands on Russell Latapy or an ultimatum in terms of to get results or else. I think it's a situation where the Barbados Football Association, they backed him. They always defended him in terms of the information that I was hearing coming out of the association. So I think it's a case where Russell Latapy has probably just gotten a better opportunity, and it may be just a coincidence that it's come at a time where, you know, he was facing massive criticism from former players and the press as well.
But right, so if you agree that it's not a case of broken promises and frustration all around, isn't it the case, and I'm very happy you said that that Randy Harris and company backed him, isn't it the case then that he has walked out on the project then, Anmar? Is it unfair to look at it that way, that with the team on the cusp of something important, which is the Gold Cup qualification, and with the possibilities still in the future for wins that would raise the profile of the team, that Russell has chosen to go with Barbados football still in a transition period between purgatory and better?
I think that's a devil advocate question, George. And I'll tell you what, last week we brought a story in our newspaper, the Nation newspaper, with the captain of the team, Hayden Holligan, saying, hey, look, listen, if Russell Latapy is sat as the head coach, we will walk away. So it's very interesting now to see what will happen to these players. I think it is a situation where he probably just jumped at a better opportunity. You mentioned walking out. I think is a case where he probably, a number of the results, as we know, weren't going in favor of Barbados. And a lot of people probably just said, hey, look, listen, maybe not. I could get this up. So, you know, I'm doing what's best for my future. And, you know, if the opportunity comes for a better job, I'll take it. And I think he did just that. And, you know, the possibility of linking up with his best friend, former teammate, and Manchester United legend, Dwight Yorke, I think that's an opportunity that any person would have jumped on.
Yeah, the issue of Randy Harris and what what Russell Latapy would have said to him. Any idea from the Barbados FA what it is that their coach said to them before tendering his resignation?
Well, we actually got a release from the Barbados Football Association, the president, and it was a joint statement from the president, and we also had a statement from Russell Latapy. And from my understanding and from my interpretation of the statement sent by Harris on behalf of the Barbados Football Association, it is a case where Latapy has left on some really good terms. Mr. Harris, you know, really praising him in terms of the time that he spent. You know, he's very grateful that Latapy came to Barbados and decided to take up the offer as the senior men's national football coach at a time where Barbados' football seem to be going in the direction. Obviously, it has not worked out, and it looks to me like a situation where the relationship is good, and who knows, maybe a lot of people may even come back. You never know.
Among those ex-players who've been calling for Russell's head before he actually walked, is there, usually this is how these things work, is there a candidate, someone to whom the BFA can turn in this hour of need, or are they likely to go looking around in the Caribbean again, or are they likely to advertise the post and get to see who makes up a short list of potential replacements as head coach?
Well, I think it's a situation where we see this all over the world, George. I think it's a situation where just before the CONCACAF Nations League first round, Kent Hall, a former Barbados midfielder, he was appointed as the assistant coach taking over from Fitzgerald Carter. So I think it's a situation where Kent Hall may be the interim or caretaker boss going into the next CONCACAF Nations League matches, those 2 games versus Cuba and Antigua. I think it's a situation where the BFA may stick with him at the moment as a temporary option. You know, Kent Hall, a person who has been working with the team now for over a year. He was the team manager for a couple of assignments. So I think it's a situation where he will continue as the caretaker boss until the Barbados Football Association can find a person. I think that would be the smart way to go. That would be the smart move. We see it all over the world. We see it at the international level, at the English Premier League level, the La Liga level, where the coach is at the assistant coach now moves up to that big job and takes charge of the team until the executive board or they can find a replacement. I think it's a situation where a number of former coaches here in Barbados may be eyeing the job, but I think it's a situation too where the Barbados Football Association could be looking in the Caribbean, maybe, who knows, even on the international circuit to find Latapy's replacement. So I think it's going to be interesting, but I think whoever is appointed as the new head coach will know that they're coming into a hot seat.
Hear you on that. Anmar, thank you very much as usual. All the best to you, and we'll call on you again.
Thank you so much, George, for having me and Lance. Take care, boys.
Good. Anmar Goodridge-Boyce there. So Russell, in and out. Potential link up with Dwight in Australia.
Yeah.
Not easy to resist.
No, actually almost impossible to resist. They're such good friends. They play a lot of golf together as well in their retirement years after playing football internationally for TNT. And of course, both of them had been based in Europe for such a long time. But at every stage of their careers, they made sure that they kept that friendship together. So I think it's a good move for Russell. The results weren't going well for Barbados, and as a coach that aspires to lift his CV, you don't want to have so many losses on your log. So I think it was an easy choice for him to move to Australia and leave the Barbados job.
I think it was a good move for coach and team.
Yeah,
Barbados wanted a break, so too did Russell.
Yeah, as he said, Kent Hall maybe. Kent Hall was a good midfielder. I think he played for Weymouth Wales in the Premier League there, and played a couple of internationals for Barbados as well. A very good, solid attacking midfielder. Has a good football brain. So if it is that he gets the caretaker job, I'd wish him the best. Yeah, always difficult when you come out publicly and back your coach, and then he leaves. Usually you come out and back your coach and then sack him. But in this case, the VFA threw their weight behind Russell, and then Russell left. But as we're agreeing, the Australian call, difficult, if not impossible to resist. All right, break time on the SportsMax Zone. Back with more after these.
Thank you for watching SportsMax on YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay informed.